now I'm going to take you back to that smoking thing I showed you a little while ago. You know, everybody got excited that, you know, wow, you know, people who smoke, they have more beta-carotene, they get less cancer. Oh, that's a big deal. And so it was talked about. Beta-carotene is an anti-carcinogen. So the United States and Finland at the time, scientists from those two countries got together and decided to do a little study. This is back in the early 90s, actually. They got together to test this remarkable apparent effect of beta-carotene on reducing lung cancer. So they organized a study amongst a bunch of smokers. This group here had beta-carotene supplements. This group over here did not. Very, very simple. Looked at the results. They intended to run the study for 8 years. They had to stop it early. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. So, big study, relatively speaking, at least for this kind of study, 29,000 male smokers. The more beta-carotene people consumed amongst all those smokers, lung cancer was decreased significantly by 19%. That's pretty significant, statistically significant, if you will. However, the people taking the beta-carotene in the form of the pill actually increased lung cancer by 18%. That was a lesson. That was a lesson. And it's been repeated quite a number of times again with other nutrients. When a nutrient is in the food, it operates as nature would have it used. You know, with all these mechanisms and all the other nutrients and all that stuff, that nature knows how to handle that. When we reach in and pull out one of those chemicals, say, oh, that's the answer. When we do that and put it in a pill, we run a high risk of getting maybe even the reverse effect. So when nutrients are acting alone, that's one thing. But when they're acting in food, that's to our benefit. It's one of the reasons, in fact, we have so many side effects of drugs. So this is not really the message for the future. So I'm getting here near the end. And what I've been trying to do here is to illustrate for you what I see as being the provocative nature of what nutrition can do with data, with, real results. I skipped over a lot of the data actually to prove my point. But nutrition is so powerful. And there's only one kind of nutrition. It is not a low-carb diet. That's nonsense. It is a whole food, plant-based diet with the right kinds of foods and lots of other things in the plants too, obviously phytoestrogens or phytonutrients, if you will, and so forth. It raises a question to me that given the fact that nutrition is so complex biologically in doing things, and we tend to be smug about it at times, and okay, if we do this, we get that kind of thing. We see problems. That's been our history in this kind of research. It occurred to me that we overestimate our own ability. And I'll illustrate it this way. When we consume food, let's say we consume a nutrient. We're really interested in that. So we know we can actually measure how much we consume. Think of it theoretically. We consume a spoonful of this, that, or something else, and there's X amount of nutrient in there. Well, when the nutrient is being consumed, it goes through various stages of digestion and metabolism and so forth and so on. Digestion, just is arbitrary. It goes through some sort of benchmarks along the way. Absorption, transport, etc., entry, function, and excretion. Okay, that's just an arbitrary breakdown of some of the events that our nutrient has to jump over or get over. Every one of these steps there, going from one stage to the next, the amount that goes from one stage to the next can vary, and this is real published data. It can vary by easily 20%. I used to say that's not a big deal, but just do the math on this. If your nutrient that you're consuming, you know how much it is, you get all the way down to biochemical function, there's no relationship, essentially, within limits. There's no relationship between the nutrient consumed and how much is actually functioning. Our body is so miraculous. Nature is so miraculous. The body is deciding, we eat the right food, The body looks at this thing and decided how much to transport to the next step. Okay? And it's doing all this simultaneously with the thousands of nutrients. So the body's in control. This is what nature is. This is nature. And for us to come along technologically and try to supersede that by taking out one nutrient at a time and using the form of a drug possibly or a supplement, worse yet, we could take these kind of things and turn them, synthesize new compounds, and we call them drugs. But in any case, there it is. That's the dynamics of the body. So to just for the sake of argument, adjust the amount of nutrient passed from one stage to another by 20%. We cannot know how much of a nutrient we're consuming is actually at the functional site. We'll never know. Even if we did know, even if we could construct a model that we could know exactly how much is there that we ate here, even if we were to know that, guess what? Add one more nutrient to that mix, and everything changes in a lot of cases. Even more to the point, if we could theoretically know how much is exactly here at this point in time, in the next nanosecond, it'd be different. So we've oversimplified the science in this field grossly. And what we've left out of the equation is nature. We have ignored nature, what it can do. And we, to a great extent, haven't even explored how to go about analyzing that question.